called life. I hope you're having a fantastic morning this morning as we are here inside of these Cafe Kubal studios. Always having a great time with you and appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So, Cafe Kubal, of course, available to you by heading off to 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York. You can also find Cafe Kubal by going out to the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road to Sweetheart Corners for their drive-through location in North Syracuse. And, of course, you can find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So make sure you head out to Cafe Kubal today. And for those of you out of town, you can, of course, go to Cafe Kubal online, cafekubal.com. That's cafe, Kubal.com. So make sure that you do that today and support local here in Central and Upstate New York, and support Central and Upstate New York in and of itself. So thank you for all of you that have done so. We appreciate it so much, and we fill our cup up right always here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. There is no better chai in our community, and I'm always a big fan of heading out there and getting some chai. So, I mean, they're known for their coffee, and I want to, on top of that, mention their chai and all the great things that they do. Fantastic desserts and really, really great sandwiches. So make sure you head out to Cafe Kubal today, whether you're meeting someone on a date, you're meeting your friends before a movie, or for a meeting for work, or whatever that may be, or mom and dad are coming into town, or whatever you got going on. Make sure you head off to Cafe Kubal today and support local. So with that being said, happy to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You can see we decked out the studios in a big time way. We've done a lot of things here recently. We have our 315 Home Sweet Home sign, and of course we have our Cuse Home Sweet Home pillow and our 315 Syracuse pillows. Those all come to us from Witty Wicks. You can go and buy all of these wonderful made local and celebrating local products by heading out to Witty Wicks. You can also give back to the community, as Witty Wicks works with a lot of companies that help out people, and give back to children, give back to women-owned businesses, as well as give back to people who are victims of domestic violence. So there's a lot of different and beautiful things that they do at Witty Wicks, so make sure you give back today. And, of course, make sure you put one of these in every room of your house. We have one here in the studio, my Witty Wicks Windows Wide Open candle. So make sure you hang out with them and head off to Witty Wicks today, and we appreciate everybody that has done so. So with that being said, very happy to jump in to today's show inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're bringing you first and foremost, as we always do every Friday, the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Then we'll hop into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Very, very excited here to have Lead, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And for the first time ever, sitting with me inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, I will have Ike Jarvis from Chick-fil-A hanging out with me here to do our topic today, which is It's All About the Journey. Then the Top Dog of the Week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time features an exclusive with Moe Neal. He has talked to nobody else since the XFL opportunity that he has. He went out and worked out in Washington, D.C. at one of their open opportunities to showcase themselves. So he went out to the Washington, D.C. showcase, and from his work out there in D.C., the XFL has added him to their draft pool for 2023. So Moe Neal can be drafted inside of the XFL based on what they've seen. We're going to do our exclusive video special with Moe coming up here at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, all inside and brought to you by the wonderful people at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding, as we have this here for the Top Dog of the Week. And then we'll round out today's show, as we do on Fridays, with our Marywood Pacers specials, and we have the opportunity to hang out with Jason Thiel, and he'll be with us on the phone this morning. We're excited to have him here on the broadcast, the head baseball coach at Marywood University, who I spent some time with this week. So, with that being said, it is now time to hop into the Annoying Moment of the Week inside of these wonderful and beautiful Cafe Kubal studios. The Annoying Moment of the Week, folks, the longest standing segment on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And here for you this morning as we get to always have some fun with our annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, our longest standing partner here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I'm really honest. I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week for this week here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. I would have to say, it's a pet peeve that I have, and it's when you're hanging out with people and they'll talk to somebody, like, you get a bunch of people together, right? And they'll ignore somebody and totally blatantly do it. I mean, it's kind of twofold, something that I experienced here recently. And that would be the fact that, I was hanging out with somebody, and there was a couple people. So there was like the three of us, right? And they totally ignored the other person. And then they met up with another friend and then totally ignored me and this other person. And it's a pet peeve of mine because, I just think, honestly, I think it's rude. I think it's inconsiderate. I think it's ridiculous, and it's a waste of people's time, and I think a big annoying moment of the week for me every single week is if and when you waste my time. And when, and I'm the type of person where I'm not going to stick around, right? I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to, find something else to enjoy my time with, because, that's just who I am. I don't stick around and sit there and wait there. And in this situation, I was surprised at the person who did it. So I took the time to kind of like say, okay, you know what? Like, maybe it'll get better. Maybe it'll change. Maybe, they'll apologize or something like that. But that didn't happen. None of that happened. And, so it's definitely my annoying moment of the week because I witnessed it within the past week here. And it's just, when you're hanging out with a friend and then they go find another friend and that friend is more important to them, or at least appears to be, and you kind of sit there yourself and you're like, okay, you know what? That's totally fine, but I don't need to be here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the type of person that wants to watch you talk to somebody else. So, I'm not there to be, watching your conversation with popcorn. If you're going to hang out with me, then you're going to hang out with me, and it's as simple as that. So, I take a vested interest in everybody I spend time with, and when I take a vested interest in spending time with them, if I don't want to spend time with you and I don't want to be around you, I'm not going to do it. That's who I am, that's how I work, that's how I roll, and, if I don't want to be around it, I'm not going to put myself around it, because to me it is a crazy waste of time. And so, it's this week's annoying moment of the week, proudly brought to you by Carvel DeWitt, because, I think we've all been through that before, right? Maybe we've done it, or maybe we've, been around somebody who's done it, where, you're with somebody and you go and you talk to somebody else and you don't engage, right? The person that you were talking with on the way to talk to this other person, you just kind of leave them off to the side. And it's ridiculous, and I think it's wrong, and I think that people deserve better than that. And unfortunately, because I've seen myself go through it in the past, and, I would never want to see somebody go through it. And I'm very protective of that, because it's not fair and it's not kind. And it's annoying because, why would you want to hang out with somebody who obviously, is paying more attention? The other annoying moment of the week for me, I would say, is when somebody's on their phone when you're with them. I understand you might have to check something like, yeah, okay, you're a parent. You might have to check something as a parent. I totally get that, right? Make sure the babysitter has all the information they need and yada, yada, yada. I totally get that. I'm not, going against that in any way, shape, or form. But where I do struggle is when, you're on the phone all the time and you're constantly checking your phone, getting on your phone. If you're hanging out with me, then you're hanging out with me. And I feel the same way, right? Because I'll apologize to people. I'll be walking, and you got the lady next to you, and you're saying to her, like, hey, and I've told her before, we're down at Disney, and I'm like, hey, I have to make sure that I put this up. It's work related. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just making sure that I have this up here right now so that stuff that, needs to be done. And when but then I said, hey, once I'm done, I'm done, right? Once I'm out of here, I'm out of here. I'm not trying to continue to do this. I'm not trying to continue to stay on my phone, because I've been there, I've been out to dinner and somebody's on their phone their entire time. I've been, out at an event and somebody's there. I've been in a meeting where somebody can't get off their phone. And if it's the first time I'm meeting this person, I've pretty much, outside of it being an emergency, which I don't think it's really ever been that, they're just on their phone. And I find it to be really rude. The annoying moment of the week, right? We talk about these things that kind of sit with us. And those are two things that sat with me within the past week here, is when you're with, a few people and you can tell that somebody's blatantly ignoring someone. And then when they, ignore you and have conversations in front of you, and you're there, but you're not a part of it. And then the other part of it is being on the phone, which I guess kind of goes with the having the conversation while not, you know what I mean? You're having a conversation that somebody's not a part of when you're on the phone. And I'm the type of person to just get up and leave. That's just how I am. If I'm sitting there and you're on your phone, I'll tell you to get off of it. My cousin Nico can tell you, we were opening presents on Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Day. And he was on his phone. And I looked right at him, and I love him to pieces. And I was like, you get off your phone or else I'm not opening any of my gifts. Like, I'm not doing that. Why? I don't like when you're with someone and you're on your phone, you're not with them. You're with whoever you're on your phone with. And then when you're with that person on the phone, when you go and see them, then you're on the phone. It's just this weird irony that, like, I'm hanging out with my friend. I'm just going to come up with random names. I'm hanging out with my friend Steve, and I'm texting Bob. So I'm not paying attention to Steve. Then I go hang out with Bob, and I'm texting Steve. So I'm never with them, but I'm with them. And that's where the confusion comes in and it sets in. And I think it's really unfortunate when you're in a situation like that. But I can let people know for sure. I don't care if you're my best friend. I don't care if you're my parent. I don't care if, you're my girlfriend. It doesn't matter to me by any stretch of the imagination. If you are on your phone excessively or you deliberately are just like ignoring, me there, I'll get up and walk away. And I think a lot of people are always like, oh, why'd you do that? And it's like, why wouldn't I do that? I don't believe in doing that to people, and I don't believe in wasting people's time. And so I find that to be an annoying moment. Another annoying moment is that I would have to say, because we spin this to a positive, so the positive is know your self-worth, right? Get up and walk away. Even if it's for a few minutes, but just get up and walk away. Leave them there at the table, texting on the phone, or if they, are walking with you and they walk up to a friend and they talk to that friend and don't involve you at all, just walk away and go do something else. I was in Disney, so I could go to the stores, I could go and watch fireworks, I could do a lot of different things, and I would, definitely suggest, spinning that to a positive and going out and doing something like that, because it's not worth sticking around for. My other piece of this, my other annoying moment of the week, I would probably have to say are the bees, because they're back. And, they're building. And I don't understand why. I don't get it. But they've built inside my grill, and they were inside the right side. Then they built a secondary one, like an outhouse, like a mother-in-law apartment, in my grill. And then I got rid of those. And then they built one on the left side. And then I thought I got rid of that. And now they're not on the grill. They're inside of the hood of the grill. They've now built on the metal, which I don't even know how they could do it because it looks like a smooth surface. But they've now built all throughout my grill because they're obsessed with the grease of it all, I guess. And I don't really understand the logic of it or why they feel the need to do that, but that is where they've put themselves. And unfortunately, this is where we're at right now. So I love honey. I have no problem with bees, but I have no idea why they're building on my grill. And everyone I've talked to, nobody has said, oh yeah, they did that to me too. I think my mom said she has a friend who they did it to, but nobody's been like, oh yeah, Dan, that's normal. People have just kind of given me that quizzical look of, well, that's an interesting way for a bee to decide to live its life. So I'm happy to know that not only are the bees building in my grill, but they're making potential Guinness World Record history in order to do that. So shout out to the bees. Please leave my grill. I respect and appreciate you, but I really don't want you in my grill. We'll take a step aside, and that means in my face or actually in my grill. We'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we'll be back here momentarily where sports meets that thing called life, as Ike Jarvis will be joining me inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios as we bring you Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, where we talk about it being about the journey. And that'll be coming up right after this fast break. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was, selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career, it's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. We're hanging out with you where sports meets life, and obviously Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, as well as on 343 Fayette Street out in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse at their drive-through location. You can see that I am not alone here in the studio this morning, as you just heard from Jimmer Sikowski, the owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, and it's now time inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' to jump into LEAD, which stands for Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. It's the acronym I created back in December of 2019. God gave me the idea, the world stopped in 2020, and learning, evolving, ad-libbing, and delivering is something that we have been faced with more so than maybe ever in some of our lives in the last couple of years. So I'm happy to be here with you to learn, to evolve, to ad-lib, and deliver on our promises. And I'm also very proud for the first time ever to have Ike Jarvis here with me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Ike is inside of our studios here, our Cafe Kubal Studios, coming to us from Chick-fil-A Clay, but you've been back and forth, Chick-fil-A Clay. Correct, and Chick-fil-A Cicero.
Yes. So I've been, more recently than ever, been going back and forth, just tons of things to get done, so yeah.
So bring us into this before we jump into Lead's topic of the day. Why have you stayed with Chick-fil-A, and why have you challenged yourself to rise up the ranks and to be able to work in the position that you're in?
Yeah, man. So yeah, I started with Chick-fil-A back in 2018, and I didn't really work before. I was pretty young. I was just getting over a sickness, and I just, Chick-fil-A had always been something like that we stopped for and that we had on vacation, right? Like if we're traveling out of town, without fail on the way back, we'd stop at Chick-fil-A. And then when we finally heard like the crazy news that Syracuse would finally be getting a Chick-fil-A, everyone went crazy. And I didn't even think about like working there, right? Like I just thought that it's going to be great to have a Chick-fil-A nearby and to be able to get that more than once a year. And then a few of my friends started to apply. They got accepted. A few of my cousins started to apply. They got accepted. So I went over and I decided, like, let's just do it. And so I met with Jimmer there. And we had a couple of conversations. And about a month later, I started with Chick-fil-A Cicero. And I believe just like, I don't know, the feeling that you get as a guest there just makes you want to keep coming back, and it's something that you want to be a part of, and so that's kind of what has kept me there all this time. Yeah.
And you, the same thing that I was doing is what you were talking about. I couldn't wait to go out of town and anywhere south,
right?
Because I knew I could go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So I go down to Charlotte, go to Greensboro, go to Orlando, and I knew St. Augustine. I knew I was going to get a Chick-fil-A. When they said they were bringing one up here, I was like, yeah, okay. And I didn't believe it for months. And then the building started to get built, and I remember I pulled over to where the building was, and I was on the phone with Papa Joe and Mary down in St. Augustine. And I was on the phone with them, and they're like an extra set of parents to me. And I said, I don't care. I know like the logo's going up, but until this place physically opens and I can physically get food, I'm not going to believe that it's real.
Right.
Because I'd been waiting for like 13 years for this thing to happen. So you get into Chick-fil-A and it's all about, faith, right? It's being unapologetic about being faithful, talking about God, genuinely asking people how their day is going and wanting to know what's it like to live in that environment every day.
Yeah. It is definitely something that you need. I'd say something that is needed for sure. It's just a wonderful environment to be around. I mean, you just said it, like at Chick-fil-A, we ask someone how's their day, and we actually we genuinely care. We want to know versus, you know, like the traditional, like, hey, how are you? And it's a very like mainstream and like surface level question nowadays, like, how are you? But when we ask someone how's their day, how are they doing, we actually really want to know. It's also just a very positive and like an uplifting environment at all times. It's a place where you can go and you can work and you can earn money and you can do this for a living, and you can also feel safe. And there's people in every corner who has your back. It's just a great environment, wonderful environment to be a part of. It's a privilege.
Yeah, you know, and you talk about that, you know, the privilege to be connected there, and you've had a journey. And so, you know, in this edition of Lead, as we have Ike Jarvis here with us from Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, today's topic inside of Lead is it's about the journey. And there's that ... because, you know, journey, not the destination. And it's not that, and I put the 3 dots because we're trying to get home, right? We are trying to get back to heaven. We are trying to get to the destination. But God put you here to actually take the time to build the book that you're going to have at the end of your life. And you get to decide whether or not you want to read that book, you know,
Right.
and if you build a life that is worth reading or that you want somebody else to open, that says a lot about, you know, who you are. And I take that in my journey every day is when I'm writing today's chapter, is this a chapter that I would be embarrassed of? Is this a chapter I wouldn't want people to read? Is this a chapter I don't want to read?
Right.
And I think, you know, while we're building our journey, it's important to remember that somebody is reading this book, and it's the all-important author of life. So I think we need to make sure we're writing good chapters.
Correct. Yeah. Agreed. Completely agreed.
So your journey, personally, to where you are today in faith, bring me into where you were and where you are and how you got there.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, if I can take you back, I think we've had this conversation as well quite some time ago, but It wasn't crazy in depth, right? But if I can take you back, let's say like 2017, kind of still in school at this time, and like I said, not working yet. There was this period of time where I just hadn't felt well in a very, very long time. And I mean, we went through doctor's offices and got all of these, you know, there's a ton of medicine and whatever, things like that. But no one could really specifically figure out what the problem was. And so time went on. I remember going to a physical, just a routine physical like everyone goes to.
Yeah.
And the nurse had came in, and she's doing her just the things that you do right before the doctor comes in, the vitals and things like that. And she notices that I have a very strange heartbeat. And she's not sure, and she's like, I could be wrong, but I'm gonna grab the doctor. And he comes in and he hears the same thing. And immediately he says, you have a heart murmur. So he advises me to go see a cardiologist. About 2 weeks later, that's what we do. Cardiologist confirmed that on the echocardiogram of the heart, there was some holes. So he said, he laid out this plan and said, this is what we need to do. It's very like minimally invasive surgery. And so about a month later, I go in and have this surgery. So essentially, it's like, if I can put it like the most simple way possible, it's kind of like a circle, like a metal circle that kind of acts like an umbrella. And the whole point was like, we don't want to have to do like an open heart surgery or anything crazy. So we'll do this surgery that's very easy, and recovery time's not crazy.
Okay.
So what would happen is they would guide it up through the heart and then pull it, and it would open and pop open and plug the holes. And then, so yeah, I've received that surgery. Very, very easy recovery. I mean, like, I'm talking like 3-day recovery. And then I was up and at it again. And then, like I mentioned before, I had got really, really sick. No one could figure out what the problem was. And so, I mean, at this point, I'm like I said, I'm very, very sick. Can hardly walk, losing a ton of weight. And so, again, doctor's office after doctor's office. One night, my mother was just like, this is crazy. I'm taking you to the emergency room. So we went, and I mean, it's at the point where, like, if we're riding in the car and she hits a bump, I'm like yelling at her, like, to go around it or something, because I don't know what's going on, but like, it hurts.
Yeah.
So we go there. We go down to upstate emergency room, where I waited about 30 minutes to be seen. And one of the doctors immediately came in and he said he could tell from the way that my eyes were that something was not okay. So they ordered some blood tests, and a spinal tap. And I was not interested in doing that at all. I just wanted to go back home. But we proceeded.
Yeah.
And about 45 minutes later, they come back and they go, well, he's tested positive for spinal meningitis and bacterial meningitis. So, of course, at that point, I'm like, I'm not going home tonight. And so we just kind of settled in, and that was probably one of the roughest nights of them all. And I had no idea that night going to the emergency room would lead to not leaving again for 3 months. And so I get started on 24/7 antibiotics for the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that at that point it's just to clear up the meningitis and things like that, which was done, but there's still something that's causing my white blood cells to not, like, they're causing them to be too high. And still can't figure it out, and time goes on and we go on, and I think at this point I was close to getting a surgery, but they said, doesn't he have, one of the doctor goes, he has that thing, the metal, and they said, yeah, let's get some pictures of it. And when they got some pictures, they noticed, it revealed that it had gotten really, really infected. It was very, very dirty, and that's what caused, I mean, all of the sicknesses, everything. So it was another about a month and a half to clear the infection off of that, just so they can go in and take it out.
Yeah.
And I get prepped for surgery for one night. One morning, get prepped for surgery, and we're ready, and they say, let's get one more blood test. And they get another blood test, and they say, yeah, we can't do the surgery today, we can't do it. His infection, there's an infection somewhere in his body still, and we don't know where it is. But a couple of days after that, I developed, like, this major toothache, like, cannot eat anything, it's awful. And they go, well, let's take him down to the dentist in the hospital, and then that reveals, like, a huge, like, infection in, like, the molars right here. So these two molars have been taken out, and so after that, finally, and I'm talking, like, after all the tests and all that thing and prepped and all that, 3 months goes by, and finally, one morning, there I go for the surgery. So I get the open heart surgery, and they remove that metal out of there. They remove that metal, and then they take a piece from the leg and patch the original holes that were found. So that was a little bit more of a extensive recovery process for sure than the first one, but nowhere near as bad as I envisioned it or my parents envisioned it. So we're really blessed, and it wasn't like awful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go through all of that.
Yeah.
How does faith find its way through what easily could have been somebody yelling at God saying, why would you do this to me? Why would you put me through this? I thought I was okay. Then this happened. Then this happened. I'm stuck in the hospital. I wasn't going to have surgery. Now I'm having surgery. You know, people go one of two ways, or sometimes they get stuck in the middle, but eventually somebody either says, God, I know you're here with me, or they say, God, why did you do this to me?
Right. Yeah. The truth is, you know, for the first like few nights, I did exactly what you just said. You know, just like you said, yelling at God, and like, I mean, I remember the first night, the very first night, I'm just like, I'm not a crier. I don't cry, but I mean, I'm just like crying. I don't want to be here. I don't feel well. Like, I just want to go home. Like, I wasn't comfortable at home in the bed. I was still in pain and still not feeling well at all. But like, I imagine like whatever was going on, like that was as comfortable as I'll be. And I remember that first night, just like, you know, it's me and my mom in the room. My dad he's actually at work like 3 blocks away from the hospital up at Syracuse University.
Yeah.
And so we like, she's like, well, we need to pray. And like immediately, like my prayer is just like, let me go home tomorrow. Or like, I have this crazy idea of like going home like in 3 days or in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And it was a very hard reality to grip, right? That I was going to be there. I didn't know I'd be there for 3 months. But I was. And I think for me, I think the faith part came in when I was like, about like 2 weeks into it, because I was really stubborn, and not like willing to be there at all. But I think a part of me finally realized that like, I'm trying to control something that I have no control over. And there is nothing in my power that I can do that'll, like I said, bring me home when I want to or whatever, make this all end. And so I think the faith part came in when I finally just like, I want to say, just surrendered to like, to God himself.
Yeah.
And just like, you know, put it in his hands. I have no control over it.
You know, and I think it's funny as you're talking about struggle, Lily got up and looked you. So
it's all right.
Yeah, you know, and she's very in tune with. She's looking right up at Ike right now. You can't see it, but she's very, very in tune with that. When you said, you know, you realize at some point I'm not in control, that at 36 years old, what I have, and I still sit with this sometimes, but it's the reality that you literally control nothing,
Right.
except for your actions and your thoughts and how you decide to handle life and what you say. You know, besides what I say and do, nothing is in my control.
Right.
And I think we spend most of our life trying to control the things that we can't, instead of realizing, like, this is what we got. You know, we want to, why did they say this? Why did they do this? Why did this person cut me off? Why did they break up with me? Why didn't I get that job? How come I'm living here? Why did I get sick? And none of those answers are going to suffice because we have no control.
Right.
And I feel that it's easy to say it out loud, but it's really hard for people to deal with it. And sometimes me to say, hey, most of the stuff that you worry about can't be changed by you. So if you decide to worry about that stuff, the things you can't control, there's 100% chance that you're going to stress yourself out and bother yourself because there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely.
You know, and I see the person that I get to sit with when I talk with you, and if somebody met you today, you're just a smiling, nice, like, hospitable, want people to have a good time, but they don't know that you almost died, and then you almost died again, and that you were laying in a hospital bed for a quarter of a year. I mean, and that to me is, I mean, it's a testament of who you are, that you know your story and you know what it's done to make you who you are, but you don't walk around and saying like, "Hey, do you feel sorry for me? Let me tell you what happened to me." Why are you so positive? Why are you so nice? And why do you look like a kid who's never had a care in the world?
I think, like you said, everyone has their struggles, and their demons that they fight. In all walks, and like you said, it's about the journey. All journeys are very, very different. Fortunately, mine is different than a lot of people even people that I've grown up with, or people that I still talk to this day. I was born and raised into a Christian family, and had parents who were always there, always supporting, and keeping us like grounded and things like that. I think that, that's like the foundation of who I am, right? And that's like the most important part of all, is to have that solid foundation, firm foundation. But I think nowadays, like, something that I heard a while back, someone told me kind of something like this, and I kind of put it into my own words, and I said, your journey or whatever you go through, make sure you learn something from it, because one day you're going to help someone who's going through this. One day someone's going to go through the same exact thing, and you'll probably be their lifeline. But also, like you mentioned, if you see me, you'd never know. You'd never know there was a story or anything like that. It's just all about, treating people with the utmost kindness, respect, dignity. You treat people how you want to be treated. And whatever you do, wherever you go, whoever you cross paths with, you show them the love of Christ, always. And, yeah, you just be there for people.
Ike Jarvis here with me this morning. Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliverance comes to you every single Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, in our partnership with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. What's been your favorite part of your journey so far? When you look at born to today, what can you look back on and say, you know what, that moment or two, those are the ones that really stick out, that when I'm having a rough day, I can go back there and it makes me smile?
Yeah. There's certainly way too many to list. But I think if I had to narrow it down, I think that it would certainly be that I have faith in a God who I can go to with anything. I think I'd also say something like I have an incredible family, that no matter what, like, what's going wrong, what's going right, whatever, I can turn to them whenever. Yeah, I think that'd be it.
What would you say to somebody who doesn't know God, doesn't believe in God, doesn't think there is one, doesn't think there can be one, that's really adamant about the fact of, like, Ike, stop, there's no reason to believe? What would you say?
I think that I would say, I would probably say something along the lines of, that your thoughts and opinions are very valued, and you're entitled to them. And I can't make you believe. I can't make you do anything. So if you sincerely believe that, again, like, if you believe there's not a God, or there's no reason to believe, then your mind is already made up, and I have no room to negotiate here. Believing is something that a lot of people struggle with, because especially in faith, because it's believing in something you can't see.
Yeah.
And so it has to be a very, very, very conscious decision made by an individual. And again, like, that was the same with me. Like I said, growing up in a faith-based home, there was a period of time where, like, you'd get woken up at 9 a.m. for Sunday school and service, and then night service and Wednesday service. And, you know, when you're a certain age, you know, like I said, there comes a point of time where it needs to be something that you decide is for you. So, yeah.
And coming here from Ike Jarvis, Ike, you've been awesome in responding to the things that I've thrown your way, but lead is a co-hosting opportunity, not an interview to somebody. So where would you like to lead the conversation now? You can ask me anything you want. We can open up this world however we want to open it up.
Oh, man, that's a good question. I would probably ask, and it could be this topic or next topic, but I think I've got it's about the journey, and I think I need to hear your journey as well. I'm not sure if I've heard too much. I'm sure I've heard bits and pieces, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I would say, I mean, I grew up in a house that is, has always been Catholic, both sides. And my grandparents went to church. My parents went to church. And when I was 6 years old in 1992, 30 years ago, almost 31, I had both of my grandfathers pass away. Same year. My grandfather, I call him Pop Miller, my dad's dad, in February. And my mom's dad, Pop Cavino, he passed away the day I was supposed to be born 6 years later, which is October 14th. I was born on the 21st. And so that year was a blur to me. It was the angriest I ever was at God. I did not hate God. I did not turn away from God, completely away from God. I turned my back and looked over my shoulder and kind of like, I'm upset with you right now, and I don't get you right now. And, when I turned 7, I had a dream, and I was in my parents' room. It was a daydream. And it's so vivid that I remember it 30 years later, almost 30 years later. So if I can ask people that are, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But for those of you watching or listening, but I had this dream of this yellow-white light. And it took up the whole space except for in the upper left-hand corner, there was an oval of white that was just sitting there like it was cut out. And I remember going, what is that? And I turned, and I could see everything through my eyes like I can now. And when I turned, I saw this rock, and the rock was smooth on the top, and it was rotating slowly. And underneath the rock, it was jagged. And there was these people on it. And I was trying to who, do I know anybody? And there was a guy in a wheelchair, and he got up, and he started walking, and he was talking while he was walking around the circle. And I realized that was my great uncle Bucky, who, when I knew him, he came back from World War II. He was captured by Nazis, put in Auschwitz, made it through. They ruined his stomach, and he, his life was probably never the same, but I had never seen him walk, and I've never seen him talk clearly and hear that like that. So I knew that was him. And then I turned again, and I saw what we would envision God and Jesus to look like, how they've been drawn, so to speak. And I was a kid, and so I saw them, and they, said hello to me, and I saw my grandfathers. And they said, hi, Daniel. And they said, we love you. And I remember looking at them being like, what is happening right now? And they were looking right at me, and they were like right here. And they're like, we love you. We're sorry we didn't get to say goodbye. And I'm sitting here, and I'm like, you know, what is this? And then I saw God and Jesus, and they said, see, we do love you. Like, we're showing you them to show you, like, we do love you. We don't hate you. And so I just remember them saying, see, we do love you. And then they went back to my grandfather's, and they said, we love you. We have to go now. And they both blew me a kiss. And then they turned, and then they appeared on this rock. And I realized that this rock had my ancestors on it, probably. And everybody was on the rock. My grandfathers were on the rock, and they're talking and walking, and all of a sudden everybody stopped. Silent, turned. They all looked up at the oval in the sky. The rock shot up, and the top of the rock completed it. It flashed white, yellow, and then it went away. And I woke up immediately. And so to me, I feel like I saw them go to heaven.
Yeah.
And it was, so that was a part of my journey, and that really helped my peace and healing of my grandfather's passing away. But, you know, I mean, I can tell you I've been through a lot. I use a lot of it in my comedy, but I've seen a lot of things in my life, and I've never lost my faith.
Yeah.
I do know that God exists. I do know that the other side exists. And I know the other side exists because when you get close to God, you feel it.
Absolutely.
And and people think, well, when you're sad and you're down and you're angry and depressed, that bad stuff comes. No, when you're happy, it comes maybe even harder. And I've had a lot of dreams. I've had a lot of visions. I've heard a lot of things. I've felt a lot of things. And, you know, my mom and my grandmother told me growing up, they're like, if you told people this, they think you're crazy. But when people say, like, prove that God exists, I can.
Yeah.
You know, I was almost hit by a bus as a kid, and I missed it by a hair. I flew off my bike one time. We were riding, my mom would, like, we would walk through the graveyard by my house, and just kind of, like, there was a long area, so we would just kind of walk, and she'd get one of her friends, and instead of walking on the main road, we'd just walk through there. It's quiet. And we'd walk during the day. And so I was on my bike, and I decided I was going to go straight down the hill and turn without putting my brake on. And I wanted to challenge myself. So I went up in front of everybody, my friend Katie, my mom, her mom, and I turned my bike, and there was all of these stones on the ground for people that had passed on, and I hit one of them, and I flew up in the air. And I just remember being up in the air looking up at God going, and looking down and going, listen, I'm going to break my back. Like, something's going to happen. Like, there's stones everywhere. I'm going to get hurt. Like, if I don't die, I'm going to break something. And I remember I fell. I never felt it.
Wow. I
opened up my eyes. My bike was off in the corner, and the back wheel was spinning. I fell in between tombstones that were all around me, and I had 2 scratches.
Wow.
And so, like, there's moments like that, and then there's just things that I hear or things that I see. And so my journey has been one of God is daily kind of, he knows how to get out to me, and he'll throw something at me, and he knows that I can see it.
Absolutely.
And, you know, my grandfather, my dad, my mom's dad, his favorite number was 13, and my favorite's 21. And so almost daily, God will put them together in 2:13, or I'll see 21:13, or I'll see 13:21, or I'll see my birthday of 10:21. And you might think it's crazy, but my friends will tell you, like, if you hang around Dan, they start seeing it.
Yeah. Wow.
So, cool. You know, they'll be like, it's so weird. I saw 2:13 like 3 out of the last 4 days.
Yeah.
So my journey's been not easy. I've had a lot of tough times. Yeah. There's a lot of things you don't know. And you know, I've had a couple of near-death experiences that really make you question humanity sometimes, and if somebody is human.
Yeah.
And, you know, and there's a lot of things that, you know, we could get into, but, I've been faced with the reality of not really knowing what the next moment was going to be.
Yeah.
And so my journey has seen a lot of different things, but at the same time, it's so beautiful. It's been a light, and God has found a way to just, he brought me to Jimmer and brought Jimmer to me. And I think when I say he brought me to Jimmer, and I don't mean that in a cocky way, like, I feel like he led me to him. And I can't tell you how many times Jimmer has just kind of grabbed me in the moment without even knowing that he did, and been like, hey, you're not alone. Like, it's gonna be okay. You're not the only one that believes in God. And so, yeah, I think everything about my life has been a mission and a journey. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know if I answered the question, but I can tell you that I've learned a lot.
For sure. Absolutely.
So, what, in closing here, like, for this edition, with it being about the journey, who are you most grateful for besides God?
Yeah. That
has been with you on your journey?
I have to say, parents, many godly figures in my life throughout the years, pastors, youth pastors, just people from the church. I go to a church that I've been going to for as long as I can remember, and every single person in that church has played a direct role in the person that I've become today. So, yeah.
And then what? You can ask me one more.
Yeah.
About our journey.
I'm gonna ask you, Dan. I'm gonna ask you what is your word to all the people watching here, on how, kind of like the same thing you asked me, on how you go through these things and come out to be the person that you are today. What's it been?
I think this world's gotten quiet about God, and I said this probably when I was a kid. I've said this for a long time. But if you look at society, the more we try to get rid of God and the more we don't talk about God, the faster society deteriorates. And it's been a clear and present danger. And so what I would say to people, how do I get through it? It is God. And it's always been God. I've evolved, and what a lot of people didn't know is I didn't love myself for a long time. Mm-hmm. I took care of everybody else.
Yeah.
But I didn't take care of myself. And there were days where I would go and, you go talk to somebody and they feel close to you and, and they, you have such a strong faith in this and that. But I really didn't love myself. And then during COVID, I took a year and a half and just like I said, hey, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy mind. Like, you're going to walk, we're going to talk with God, we're going to get control of life, we're going to get control of this. And I think from the outside looking in, people thought I always had control, but to me, I just wasn't nice to me.
Yeah. So
how did I get through it? I put the work in. And it's such an easy answer, but it's true. It's God. He's not this mystical being that's sitting in a chair somewhere that we just like made up so we can. I remember somebody told me that didn't believe in God. She said, you use God as a crutch because you don't know how to handle life. Ooh. And I said to her, I'm sad that you feel that way, but I said, I don't use God as a crutch to handle life. I walk with God, and my way that I handle my life is my tribute back to him. Yeah. So many people today are begging God for time. They're begging to get out of that hospital bed. And I'm not in one. And I feel that you have to remember that when you wake up in the morning. Like, if you woke up and you're complaining, you woke up with the right and the opportunity to complain. You're not dead, so you can complain. And if you can call somebody that loves you that'll listen to you complain, that's a blessing.
Right.
So, how do I get through it? I have really great people. I have really great angels. And when people pass away, you'll hear me talk about G-Mama, and I talk in the present because she's always going to be here.
Yeah.
And one day I'm going to get to hug her and get to feel what it's like to have her hug again and have that kiss. And I can smell her. Like, I can still,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I would say God gets me through it. And, people that he sends me where he's like, hey, you don't have to feel like you're in some secret bunker where you talk about God but nobody can hear you. Like, and I will go to Chick-fil-A in times where subconsciously or consciously I just want to be around people that aren't afraid to say something. So whether it's you, whether it's your brother, whether it's Joe, whether it's, Adriana or Jake or Tyler or anybody that's, been on the show, or Ariel, and especially Jimmer and Betty, and Jack, there's so many people. And, with Jimmer, he knows and I know now, and we knew before, but I wanted to really make it clear. And I, we always say, love you, brother.
Yeah.
And there's something to it, and it was such a cool thing a couple days ago. I saw him on Wednesday after I had seen you. I went out to Cicero, and he looked at me and he goes, I'll take another hug. and so, and it's it's those moments where, like, God gets you through it, and then the people that God sends you get you through it. And I think we just need to remember that the media doesn't want to spin it this way, but there's a lot of people that believe in God, and I think we need to be very proud of that, and we don't need to whisper it.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ike Jarvis, myself, Dan Tortora. This has been your edition of Lead for this week. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. As you see it here, it is all about that journey. We're going to take a step aside from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and we will come back with our top dog of the week from Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding as we honor Moe Neal from Syracuse Football History, who now has an opportunity and an invitation to join the XFL in 2023. So, Ike, thank you for sharing your story.
It's my pleasure.
Appreciate it as always.
Absolutely.
And make sure you go out and see him at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. I don't need to tell you all, but I'm going to tell you all. When you go through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A, it's a different experience. It's not just a chicken sandwich. And even if it was, it's better than all the rest.
That's right. That's right.
We will talk with you soon. We thank you so much for being here. And Ike, thanks again. And thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay.
A pleasure. Thanks for having me. Awesome.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios. Happy to be hanging out with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. And very excited to be here on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT, as well as on Facebook.com /Live Now DT. And you're listening worldwide on MixLR.com /Wake Up Call DT and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. So with that being said, you see our Wake Up Call logo, you see our Cafe Cubal love, and I'm here with my guy, Mr. Moe Neal, who is hanging out with me where sports meets that thing called life. Mo and I have been talking since well before he came to Syracuse, during his time with the Cuse, and all the way through since. And I am very happy to have a family member on the broadcast. This isn't an interviewee. This isn't just another player. This is family. So, Mr. Neal, how we doing?
Doing good. You know, it's always a pleasure to be on the show, man. You know, every time I come on here, you know, it's all love, and you know, always glad to, you know, be here, chop it up with you. So, you know, like you said, man, it's family. So,
and I'm excited about this opportunity as you and I are talking on the heels of you having some recent news that you know, for those that don't know, I instead of me saying it, I'd love for you to share it with everybody.
Yeah, well, recently, you know, just got some great news. I've got the email to, you know, be invited to the XFL Draft Pool. Got that last Wednesday, you know, so it's great. You know, feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. You know, finally able to get a chance, get an opportunity, you know, to, you know, play football again, and, you know, show people, you know, that, you know, I'm still, you know, Moe Neal, and I, you know, still can play at a high level.
Yeah, you know, and Mo, I mean, speaking on that, how did it all come about? Like you said, you got an email that you'll be a part of the XFL draft. So how does that come about? Did you have to apply? Does somebody have to refer you? How does it all work out?
So recently on June the 17th, June 17th was the first showcase camp that they had. It was in Washington, D.C. I rode up there. You know, it's the closest one to me. The other ones was kind of pretty far down in Florida or on the West Coast and stuff. So I signed up for the camp. You know, I signed up for it. They accepted me. Got my name in there, and you know, I went out to the camp. You know, had a great day. You know, it's like combine related stuff. You know, the 40, L cone, and position drills and stuff like that. And you know, I was able to get out there and you know, show what I can do, and you know, put on a good show. And you know, after that, you know, I got that email last week, you know, that I was going to be able to, you know, get a draft invite, you know, so that's how it came about. And also I've been having, you know, people that I know that works with the XFL and partners, you know, has partners, and also has been putting a good word in for me too. You know, so, you know, like I said, it's all about connections, all about who you know nowadays, you know, especially when you get to that, you know, next level of, you know, professionalism. You know, it's not always about being, you know, the best, or, you know, it's all about knowing people that can, you know, vouch for you and, you know, put a good word out for you. So, you know, I've been having also, to go along with me, you know, doing well at the showcase, I had, you know, great connections and people putting in good words for me.
You know, and you said, you know, showing out at the showcase, what made you want to go out and be a part of that? What made you believe, hey, you know what, the XFL, I'm going to believe in, like, this is the third iteration of it. It existed way back. It came back for a season. Then COVID hit. Now it's under new management and whatnot. And obviously, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a part of this, which is a huge piece of you know, the leadership of what we're looking at here and that executive leadership board, and something to, you know, really be excited about. So when we look at, you know, what this is going to be and the XFL's third iteration, why did you feel that this would be a good opportunity for you to go out and show yourself?
I mean, you know, really, I just wanted an opportunity, you know, to play football ultimately. You know, and I felt like that the XFL was great. You know, it was something that I definitely know that I could get into. And if I did get into it, I know it would be a great opportunity for me to showcase myself because, like you said, I know The Rock and, all his partners are definitely, cooking up something special with the XFL. And I feel like it's only going to get bigger, from here. And the camp was very organized, ran great. And, that's just a testament to, how things are going to be ran. So I just feel like, it was just a great opportunity for me to be able to, showcase myself. And, I believed in myself, every step of the way. And, it was never any doubt that, if I get the opportunity to be able to, do what I love to do, that, that they would love me. And, so finally, it's just, like I said, feel like a weight lifted off where I finally feel like I can, get back in the pads, and it's just, I'm tired of these shorts and shirts workouts and stuff like that. Just finally getting back to playing football. So, I'm excited and I can't wait to get ready to go.
Syracuse Orange alum Moe Neal here with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios on the heels of the news that he is going to be in the XFL Draft Pool, which will officially come to us in 2023 with their season. How did you stay ready? What did you do with your body? What did you do with your mind to make sure that you were prepared for a moment like this?
It was rough. I can't lie, man. I haven't played football since the 2019 season, my senior year. Draft year was 2020. We all know how that went. 2021 went a whole year without, hearing nothing as well. So I definitely say, man, it took a lot out of me. I'm just very blessed to have, great people in my corner to keep me motivated, and keep me down to earth and just always, giving positive energy, to me because, it's hard, it's tough, working out and trying to stay in shape, not knowing if you're ever going to get opportunity, just feeling left out, because it definitely hurts because you know what you can do. I know that I definitely can play professional football, whatever it is, whether it's, CFL, NFL, XFL, whatever it is, I know that that my skills can translate to that level of play. And, just very frustrating. And, it was just a testament to my faith as well. Just believing in God and just knowing that he had a master plan for me. And the story is still being written. It's just, like I said, it feels like a weight lifted off that, all the stuff that I've been doing, over the past couple years now has not went to waste. And me just being able to stay in shape, keeping my body right, making sure I'm still putting the right stuff in my body, it's been awesome. And like I said, I was finally able to get out there and, showcase myself in DC and, and compete with other running backs and, not just running backs, but, other positions as well. So, just to show that, I'm still be able to, do my thing, man. It felt great, so I'm just excited and ready for the next steps and ready to play football again.
When you were coming out of Syracuse, we're talking about pandemic time, COVID time and whatnot, which really shakes up, right, the draft, and it shakes up who, teams kind of just wanting to live in their bubble and how many rookies are they taking in and whatnot. So you were hit with a circumstance that was beyond your control.
Yes, sir.
How have you dealt with that over time? I know we've talked about that here on the show before, but to look a little bit deeper into it, when you believe in God and you have such a strong faith, and then a pandemic hits and it has nothing to do with your talent, it has nothing to do with your ability, it has nothing to do with your, you being able to watch film and understand something and implement that, it was something that was totally out of your control. Mm-hmm. How have you dealt with that? And is that God's plan to you? Do you really believe that God had a plan in that whirlwind of trying to get drafted during a time where life was very unique?
Yes, definitely. I definitely a firm believer in God had a plan for me. I know I'm not the only one that went through that situation. I know there's a lot of guys in my situation, but just speaking for me and my personal experiences, I definitely I definitely am a believer that, God definitely had a plan for me. And, I don't know what it was, and to me to continue to, strengthen my faith in him, or, maybe wait. He wanted me to wait and, be stronger in a different thing, a different mindset where I was weaker at, but, it definitely has been a great experience. I've learned a lot. People have came into my life, and, so it's just been a crazy experience. It's tough to put into words, because, like I said, I never would thought to be in this situation. And that's how life is. Nothing's ever guaranteed. And I feel like, just a setback for me to just realize that, like, we really have to live in the moment and really be blessed of what we have and what we got going on, and just take it day by day. Because at the end of the day, God's in control, and he has the final say. So I'm a firm believer, and no man can't stop God's plan. It's just a blessing to be able to suit back up again. Like I said, this and like I said, I say suit back up, and it's not really official, but I'm speaking into existence. I think that I'm there. I put in all the work, and I'm just excited to be able to play again.
Well, and I think the thing is, when it really comes down to it, Mo, I mean, you talk about speaking into existence. I mean, if you want it, you got to go get it, right?
Yes, sir.
I believed that I was going to be a broadcaster when I was a junior in high school. So, and here we are, almost 19 years of broadcasting, and this month of July is my 10-year anniversary of my company. So, Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, I've been working for myself more than I work for anybody else, ESPN affiliates, Fox affiliates, Yahoo affiliates. So, this to me is a beautiful, beautiful story of speaking it into existence, and you're doing the same thing, right? Because you're telling people, this is what I'm going to do. You finished at Syracuse in 2019, so your name was in the 2020 draft. Your name was in the draft at the beginning of the pandemic. In March, we felt it. The draft is there in, April, May time. And so it's just a weird world. And when we look back at the draft, there's only one running back taken in the first round of the 2020 draft, and that was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who hasn't really caught on in Kansas City. He was supposed to be the starter, but it hasn't come through yet. DeAndre Swift has dealt with injuries. He was drafted in the first three picks of the third pick, actually, of the second round. And then after that, we saw Jonathan Taylor go 41st overall, and we know that arguably he's the best in the biz right now. Cam Akers, going through injury, coming from FSU, was drafted in the second round. And then we had A.J. Dillon, who's splitting time with Aaron Jones in Green Bay. Then Antonio Gibson found his time out of Memphis, who, I cover a lot of guys, a lot of running backs successful out of Memphis in the current NFL, and he was drafted in the second pick of the third round, and he's found his play with the Washington Commanders. And then after that, it's not a lot of, we're not talking about starters. We're not talking about guys that, are leading the backfield. So it was a quiet draft for running backs. And now, looking back upon that, do you feel like there was something you could have done differently? You had 2,560 yards. You averaged 5 yards a carry in your career. Your numbers are strong. You had almost 20 rushing touchdowns. You had almost 600 yards receiving. Looking back on it, your numbers state the case. Your health states the case. You weren't used as a traditional running back in the first two seasons, so I think that worked against you, but that wasn't your fault. In my opinion, I don't understand why you're not on an NFL team right now. So now I ask you the question of looking back, was it where you played? Was it Syracuse's reputation in current sports right now? Do you think being on a losing team affects the draft stock? Did you ever hear anything back on that in regards to that you were kind of playing not in a traditional running back position, that you were on a losing team? Do you think that had something to do with it, or how do you look back on that? Because the numbers don't lie, and the fact that you stayed healthy doesn't lie, and it's very hard to average 5 yards a carry. So what do you think it was?
Yeah, I mean it's puzzling. There's many different ways. That people say that. I've also done heard the reasons of me not being on the NFL team right now. Obviously, winning does help, and it's proof is in the pudding. I mean, I feel like you put my numbers and put the way that I played on another team, or at a FSU, or at a Clemson, or a team like that, or a team that's known for winning and known for putting, and not even that, or even a Miami, they haven't really been winning in the past, but I just feel like it's the culture and the pipeline to the NFL. Is strong with those teams in recent years. And I feel like that definitely played a big part. We did only have one winning season when I was there. And we also had a lot of, talented guys, that I felt like, that, didn't get opportunity as well, at Syracuse. And I just feel like, it was just it's the pipeline, it's the culture. I feel like it's changing now, with Cisco, Iffy, Trill, the guys coming behind, Garrett Williams, Deuce Chestnut. We all know Sean Tucker is probably going to be a high pick, and I just feel like it's changing. I just came in throughout a time where it wasn't Syracuse. We wasn't producing a lot of NFL guys. I think the time I was there, since I've been there. Alton Robinson was the highest draft pick that we had since I've been there. Since I was there, he was drafted in 5th round, I believe. But Zaire was 7th round, Chris Slayton was 7th round. Everybody else after that was just undrafted free agents. So if you look at it like that, and the proof is there. Just the pipeline to the NFL, just is not as strong. Like I said, in that draft class, it was a running back that got taken in like the 5th or 6th round, and his career numbers didn't even stand a chance against mine. I think the running back was from Miami, actually. That's so. You look at stuff like that, and that's stuff you can't control. I mean, like I said, man, that's stuff you cannot control. I can't control. All I control is how I play and, how I did on the field. And I left it all out there. I had a great career. I don't take nothing back. Syracuse is always home to me. I love Syracuse. Had a great 4 years there. I wish I could have done more to help win, But, at the end of the day, I finished top 10 in rushing, finished top 10 in yards per carry. I won the best running back award on that team 2 years in a row, junior and senior year. And I was a team captain my senior year as well. Definitely, well respected up there. And I love, Syracuse, will forever be orange. I try not to, dive, deep into that, because at the end of the day, like I said, that's something I can't control. But right now I just got to look at the positives, and now I finally got an opportunity to put myself out there with this XFL deal and stuff like that, man. So I'm very excited to get back out there and just show people what they missed out on, and that Moe Neal can still play football. I'm ready to go.
And I love speaking with Moe Neal here inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. This is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and looking at the XFL, looking at this opportunity that is ahead of you right now, in the time that you have been preparing yourself and working toward an opportunity. The USFL is here, the XFL is here. Obviously, it's coming back. The CFL is still in existence, the NFL is in existence, but we're living in a world right now where these leagues are forming they're identifying themselves and they're trying to build a business plan where they're going to be successful right off the jump. You know, we see the USFL had deals with NBC and Fox, so their games in their first season were right out there. They were to everybody. You watched them on the weekend. If you had basic cable, you saw them. And then in the case of looking at the XFL, they're working with Disney. And so they're going to have ESPN, ESPN Plus, ABC, and whatnot. What can you say about the world that we are in today, that there are multiple avenues and opportunities, and that the XFL and the USFL are not looking to be a little brother to the NFL? They're looking to hold their own. So, you know, yes, you've had to wait your turn, so to speak, and keep working for it. But what does today's professional football climate in America look like to a player such as yourself?
It looks great. You know, it looks like, you know, a chance to be able to, you know, compete and, you know, work your way up. You know, like you said, it's great that, you know, football are starting to have those other, you know, avenues where players like myself can, you know, maybe went under the radar and didn't get a chance to get into the NFL, but, you know, kind of like the NBA has the D League and all these other type of leagues that the NBA has to find players. I feel like, you know, football is finally starting to, you know, do the same, you know, with all these spring leagues. And of course the CFL has been going strong for years. You know, so it's an exciting time right now. You know, I guess for young players like myself, even college players, you know, that may feel like, you know, they might go under the radar, you know, with the NFL, you know, it's definitely an exciting time to be able to still play professional football somewhere and still be able to get what you want in the long run. You know, if you play the game right and, you know, everything goes your way, you know, you still have an opportunity to still accomplish, you know, whatever you want to accomplish. So it's great. You know, it's definitely a great time, you know, that everything's evolving and, you know, coming up, and I'm excited to see, you know, where it takes off to.
Yeah, you know, and seeing this XFL, to give people a little bit of background, as we see the XFL come to us in 2023 in this third iteration of it, we know that there is leadership at the top that's taking this obviously very, very seriously as they've worked to have this come out, not rushing it to do so. And we know the coaches, right? Wade Phillips is going to be coaching the Houston team. And then we look at the other Texas teams. Bob Stoops will have Dallas, and then Hines Ward will have San Antonio. And then outside of that, Reggie Barlow will have Washington, D.C. Rod Woodson will have Las Vegas. And this is going to be a very exciting thing here as we take a look at this. Jim Haslett will have Seattle. So as we look at what's coming here and what's going to be moving forward, Anthony Becht and Terrell Buckley. So Becht is going to be in St. Louis, and Terrell Buckley will be coaching in Orlando, which is going to be the new home after there was a team that was down in Tampa. So I believe the Vipers are the ones that are going to be relocating there. So, I mean, when you hear those names, I mean, these are coaches that have been around the block. Jim Haslett, you know, Wade Phillips, these are former players, and, you know, Terrell Buckley and Anthony Becht and so on. And so Rod Woodson, Hines Ward. I mean, this is a very – and what I think is really cool about it is they're not showing us logos. They're not showing us, like, really a lot about these teams. They're showing the coaches – and they're showing the leadership of this. And that, to me, is really cool that they're like, hey, these are the people we've hired to make it look like a true organization and a true business and not just 8 separate entities. When you see all these names and you see how the XFL has put this together, what do you think about the league in that respect?
I think it's great, man. Like I said, even you can, like you just said, like, you know, them just promoting, not even like team logos and getting into all the other little fancy stuff. They're promoting like the structure and who's going to be running it, and you know who's in those leadership positions as far as coaches and stuff like that. So you know, like you have when you see stuff like that, like it's definitely great. You know, like like I said, even at the showcase camp, you know, just how everything was run. You know, Hines Ward was out there. I forgot what other coaches were there. But you see everybody that they're all brought in, and they all want this to work, and they all want this to be something special, not just for them, but for like guys like myself, like we talked about earlier. They want this to be a platform for guys like me to be able to, showcase themselves and and be a professional and go about things the right way. And I feel like it's something special to see, and like it's not just a money move or just something just being thrown together. Like it's really something that's that's here for the greater good, and it's only going to get better and better. So I'm, like I said, man, I'm beyond excited. I can't wait to see where I land, and what city I'm gonna be in, and it's just a real feeling, and I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, and this is really amazing, and it's exciting that this is going to be here, and knowing how purposeful this is going to be. Like you said, you had the DC showcase, which just happened here in mid-June at the University of Maryland in College Park, Maryland, and we know that coming up, we're going to see some more showcases going on as well. So being a part of this DC showcase and knowing that you're already in, what are you doing now to stay prepared, stay ready? What's the regiment like? Bring me into it.
Well, just doing the same thing I've been doing, man. I'm, consistently, making sure I'm, putting the right things in my body, making sure obviously working out, recovering as well as a big key. Also train guys. I've also been training high school and, college guys around my area as well, too. I just started that up, being around those guys, keep me going as well, too. Just giving those guys knowledge, and also me continue to learn and build with them, has also been great. So, those are the type of things I've been doing. I also have a job, too, that I work. I picked up a job at, this place called GNT. It's a food coloring company, and they they're based out of the Netherlands, but they had a building up in New York, New Jersey, but they moved down to North Carolina because they needed flat land, because they're about to start growing the fruits and stuff from scratch over here in North Carolina instead of getting it from the Netherlands. So it's a great company, great CEO. They know my situation. They're very lenient with what I have going on. They work with me. They root for me and everything. So they, it's a great company. And like I said, they allow me to do the things I need to do to, keep being successful on the field as well. So, I couldn't ask for a better situation. So, that's what I've been doing in the meantime, and that's what I'll continue to do until it's, time to pack my bags up and go where I need to go.
And that's the thing is, having this positivity, you said it wasn't always easy to do that. And I understand that, coming out of college, 2019, finishing up, and then 2020 with everything happening and going into the draft. So it's been a couple seasons since you've been on the field, putting those pads on and whatnot. So how did you, I know you said you had a lot of good people around you and they helped you, and your faith in God and whatnot is obviously something I understand very well. Looking back on this, like you said, you got a good job, you're in a good situation, you like the company, you like the ownership of the company and how it's being led. They understand your situation, they're in support of it. The XFL, you go out and you work out in a showcase and they put you in the draft pool. These things are all happening here in 2022. So when you look back on it, do you feel like, as much as you didn't like it and you didn't understand it, God was putting your story together? I mean, do you feel like you're in the right place at the right time right now? And how did you get through the mental and emotional anguish of it all? Because I think people need to hear that more than anything. We all go through stuff, and we see people on the other side of it successful, but I feel like we don't always talk about going through the battlefield, which is what we need to do so that people that are in it right now can know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it's definitely been tough, man. A lot of dark days that people don't see. a lot of stuff built up inside, that I don't tell everybody, that I go through, and, just always having a smile on my face in public and stuff like that. And, people take that as, me doing good, but, it's definitely been rough. But like I could say, just a lot of sleepless nights and talking to God, definitely got me through it. And my favorite question was why. Well, my favorite word was why. Why this, why that. And in church one day, pastor was saying, like, it's okay to talk to God and, ask him why. We sometimes, people feel like, we shouldn't, question him, but, we also need to talk to him as we talking to somebody else, because he's always there for us. And, I've talked to him so much, and the people in my corner, like I said, I can't thank the people in my corner so much, my family and friends, my girlfriend, she's been there for me, praying over me, so that all that has helped, man. And that, like I said, you got to take it a day at a time, because every day is not going to be, some days I am in a great mood and I'm good. I'm going about my day. I'm doing good. And other days I just get up and I'm like, this is not where I know this is where I'm not supposed to be in life. I know I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be doing that. But, those days when it's hard, when it's rough, you just have to dig deep, and you really have to, just be in the present and thank God that you're living. Thank God for the little things. You got to take a step back and don't think about what you want or what you should have. You got to think about what you do have now and what you're thankful for now, because that, that gets you through, because it's still people that are less fortunate than you. Your situation didn't work out as planned. My situation didn't go as planned, but it's still people that are less fortunate than me, and it's still people that are here that are counting on me as well. Family and friends, my community, doesn't want to see me give up. The kids in my area still look up to me, and I still have to be that person. I can't just give up and say I'm done with it. Like, I have to keep going for them. Get back that knowledge, let them know that, I want them to do better than me, do it way better than me. Don't try to be the next Moe Neal, be the best you, be better than Moe Neal, so all that stuff comes, into play. And I feel like, that's what helps you get through those dark times, man, just being grateful and being blessed of what you do have. I feel like, we get caught up in life, the social media age now is definitely messed up life. We see all this people doing good, people doing successful on social media, but like you said, everybody's not putting on social media the rough times that they're going through. Everybody's putting on their accomplishments. So you never know what it took for that person to have this, or what it took for that person to get there in life. Like, we all have our battles to face, and that, and that's the way of life. We go through battles. We have to get through obstacles to achieve, this saying that I always take with me: anything that's worth having in life is not easy. So I'm a firm believer in that. And, if it's worth having, it's not going to come easy. You're going to have trials and tribulations, and you have to find a way to dig deep and get through it. And, that's what I was able to do these past couple of years, man. It's just, dig deep, fight, not give up. And like I said, it wasn't been easy, because there's plenty of times where I wanted to be done. I wanted to give up. I wanted to do something else with myself. But, I said, no, I'm not. Something just kept me going, like, no, we're not going to talk like that. We're not going to think like that. So, I'm just happy. I'm blessed. Like you said, everything's coming together at the right time, man. I fell into, a great company that, for my first ever job, they're very, very, very great people, that look out for me, and, make sure I'm still doing the necessary things I need, and finally getting an opportunity on the football field. It just feels great, and And when you start seeing stuff, unfold, and that makes the rough times even sweeter, so like, it's a great feeling. I know I'm rambling on, man, but it's it's surreal. And like I said, it's only the beginning. It's just only the beginning. But once you start seeing stuff unfold, like I said, you definitely it definitely makes you think about the rough times and how you didn't give up, and it makes everything so much better. So I'm definitely blessed, and like I said, I just can't wait to see what the future holds.
And I don't think you're rambling on at all. I mean, you're talking about God. You're talking about life. You're talking about things that have affected you and what you've been through. I've talked to you through this process. I've talked to your dad. I know that this has not been an easy process to go through, but it's, I said this, and it's funny. There's a lot of things I try to. There's a lot of things you say in life, and as a broadcaster, there's a million things you say in a day. But there's a couple things, just a few things that I actually keep with me, and things that I could say to myself every day. And one of the things that I said years ago when I was at Johnson College in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and I was speaking with an entrepreneurship and business class, thanks to Roseanne Martinetti for making that possible, and the staff there at Johnson College. When I went there to speak, I didn't have anything. I had like a presentation. I had like a PowerPoint, but I didn't have anything written down because I feel like if I write it down and I script it, it's not genuine. And so I was talking, and I didn't know if anything was sinking in, and I was kind of like beating up on myself. So at the end of it, I think I said, by a show of hands, raise your hand if you took something away from what I said. And pretty much everybody raised their hand. And I was like, okay, because I felt like I could have done better. And the teacher started to talk, and I said, actually, can I say one more thing? And she said, yeah, go ahead. And I said this one thing to them, and I say it to this day to myself, and I used it multiple times in the past week. You will learn the difference very quickly of if you love something or if you think you love something. Because if you love somebody and something doesn't go right or there's adversity, you figure it out. But if you don't really love them, you let them go. If you have a friend that you truly love and you care about, you're going to work out when you have those moments when you butt heads. But if they don't matter to you, you're going to let that go. In a job, in a career, in a dream, if you get knocked down on the ground and you stay down and you go, man, why am I here? I don't really want to do this. Screw this. I'm just going to get up and do something else. You don't love it. But if you get knocked down on the ground and you get back and you pop back up, maybe not the first time you pop up as fast, but now, almost 19 years into being a broadcaster, I knew I loved this. But I got hit and I got hit and I got hit and I got hit and I got hit. And still people try to shoot missiles my way. But I like it. And you know what, Mo, I got to tell you, like the Hulk, I eat those missiles now. I see them coming, I grab them, I bite them, and it's like, I don't know, it's like me having a little snack. So,
yes, sir, no doubt.
But that's the thing is you find out if you really love it. And 2 years of trying to work and get this opportunity, you obviously really, really genuinely love football, or else you would have quit. And you didn't. I don't even like that. It's hard for me to even, I can't believe I even said that word because I can't say that Q word in my life. But you did it. And I think that speaks volumes of the fact that you love this. And somebody who loves the game as much as you do deserves an opportunity. And I hope that this one pays off for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
Moe Neal, XFL, you know what to do. Plenty of leagues out there, plenty of opportunities out there. Mo, I am one of the GMs of one of these teams. I sit down with you. Let's have a final note here. You tell me why I'm taking Moe Neal. I got running backs in my backfield. I got people who played last year. I got a guy coming from the NFL. I got a guy coming from the USFL. Why am I taking Moe Neal right now on my team, and why are you going to make me better?
You taking Moe Neal because the simple fact of what you just said. Moe Neal loves the game of football. Look at Moe Neal's backstory. Look what Moe Neal's been through. Don't even look at my resume. Don't even look at the fact that I had 2,500 yards. Don't look at the fact that I finished top 10 in rushing. Don't look at the fact that I never got hurt in a single game. Don't look at the fact that I was average 5 yards a carry every single year. Don't look at the fact that I was team captain. Look at the fact that Moe Neal hasn't had an opportunity to play football. With those accolades, Moe Neal hasn't had a chance to play football in 2 years now, going on 3. And the simple fact that, he's still showing you signs of that he can still play the game at a high level. And I'm still that, great character kid. Also, I never got in trouble at Syracuse, never had any off-the-field issues, never been a cancer in the locker room. I'm a guy that's going to come to work every single day and try to get better. And I'm going to try to make the people around me better. That's something I've always been. Kind of call myself like a spark plug. I like to, when things not going right, I like to make a play. I consider myself as a playmaker, whether that's catching the ball, whether that's running the ball, whether that's, maybe doing something on special teams. I want to make plays. And I feel like as a football player, you have to make plays. There comes a time that it's between you and the next man and who's going to make the play.
Yeah.
It's not how fast you run a 40, not how, how you can jump, not how strong you are. When you get in between those lines, it's who wanted more, who has more heart, and who's willing to do whatever it takes to be successful. And, and Moe Neal is going to do those things to be successful. And that's why you take a guy like Moe Neal to be in your organization and, to be a running back for your team.
That coming here from Moe Neal. You take me because I know in those little inches and those little pieces what to do, and I am in love with this game. I'm in love with this game, and there's nothing that I wouldn't do morally to make a team successful and to bring somebody forward. Moe Neal, right here on Wake Up Call, the exclusive since he got that XFL draft opportunity, and that'll be coming up in 2023. We'll be chronicling Moe Neal as we always do. And Moe, as you all know that know Moe, he wore only the best number in all of sports, 21. So with that being said, Mr. Neal, I thank you. I give a shout out. I say yo to Shelly. I say what's up to Tracy and the whole family. I got nothing but love for the Neals. I look forward to seeing you all soon. And I am so happy there's not a better person to get an opportunity like you're getting right now. And I cannot wait to see what God has planned for you next.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Like I said, it's always a pleasure to come on here at the show and, not talk with just any other broadcaster, but just to sit down and talk to family. Like you said, you've been covering me way before I got to Syracuse, and you've been with me every step of the way. And I greatly appreciate you. That's why, he hit me up. I already knew that, I wasn't going to talk to anybody else before I talked to you. And I stood by that. And, hey, I don't even want to talk to nobody else, really. Ain't nothing really to talk about. Ain't nothing to really talk about. I'm just excited to, finally, get that opportunity and get back to playing football.
I'm excited about that, and it's now time for me to tell you officially who you are this week, as this is here on Friday, July 8th, is that you are our official top dog of the week, presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Campground Dog Boarding in East Syracuse, just a few minutes from the Dome as well as Syracuse's campus. So you are our top dog of the week. Now go out there and show them that your bite is a lot more than that bark. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Top dog of the week, Moe Neal, celebrated here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with this exclusive conversation that you won't find anywhere else. We'll take a step aside and we'll come back with our Pacer Pride to round out the week here with the Marywood Pacers head baseball coach Jason Thiel right after this. From inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Woody Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Syracuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Woody Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Cabal studios. We're happy to be here with you on 3501 James Street, as well as 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse for their drive-through location. As you know, every single Friday we round out the week with the Marywood Pacers, bringing you Pacer Pride. And in this opportunity that we have to bring you Pacer Pride here today on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I'm honored to welcome back to the show someone who is no stranger, and that is Marywood University Pacers baseball head coach Jason Thiel. He asked me with his staff, Rick Clifford, assistant on the team, asked me to be a part of something special, which provoked me to want to speak with them today on what they're doing to be unique, consistent, and purposeful with their recruiting and with their teams. So that being said, Jason, how are we doing today?
Good, Dan. How are you? Thanks for having us on again.
Absolutely. And Jason, first and foremost, to take a look at, what I really wanted to get into is the fact that you've been unique in how you're attacking what we're doing here when it comes to the world of recruiting, as well as, keeping the focus of your team. So, obviously in the last couple of years, Zoom and Google Meets and Microsoft Teams and all that stuff, like all these things have happened so that we could stay connected. But you've utilized them to keep everybody in the same area, be it current players, be it players that are coming in, as well as, knowing that obviously people are home for the summer and whatnot. So how have you continued to use all of these platforms to make sure the team stays together, and why have you wanted to do something like that?
Yeah, I think obviously, over COVID, I think use all alternative means to sort of stay in contact with guys and see how guys are doing and just update guys and sort of what's going on. And we just continued that the last couple of years throughout, the summer, and getting guys engaged. And we have workout plans that guys have that, we send them home with. Or, we obviously give it to them shortly after they go home for the summer. And it's just really getting back every few weeks and having team meetings and seeing how guys are doing, see if there's any questions, what's coming up for the fall, what we need to get done paperwork-wise. I know Coach Clifford, he came up with an idea, maybe having some alums on, and that's why obviously we had you on the other day, which we were thankful for. And then we have another alum who's doing very well in the military, ex-baseball player. He'll be coming on next month as well in August, and that'll sort of lead us into, the fall and getting back on campus. But we always talk about being a family and being close and pulling the same side of the rope. And, we say that all the way through recruiting to where our guys are at now. And, any way to keep these guys close and engaged, especially you get a bunch of new freshmen, it's good for them to start to see faces and names, not just text, before they come on campus. So, we try to get them as involved as we can and part of the family as early as we can.
You just said something that I've never heard anybody say it this way before, but when you said we want to make sure that the guys know that they're pulling on the same side of the rope, just go into that in those words that you chose, because obviously you're all one team and it's not a tug of war, but I've never actually heard somebody say it that way, to say we're all pulling on the same side of the rope.
Yeah, I think, everyone who's played sports has been on teams where maybe atmosphere is not good. Guys are pulling different directions, pulling other players in different directions. This is stupid. Why are we doing this? Why is that decision being made? I don't like this guy. And they can really, divide a team and cause cancers within a team. And that's sort of not what we want. And we talk about that from the beginning. When we first started with the program, we sort of had to bring in, our kind of guys, the guys we were looking for, our kind of culture, recruiting, those type of things. And it took a few years for us to really do that. And that we sort of stressed that through the recruiting process of the kind of kid that we're looking for, to represent us a certain way, but also be a team guy. So, if you look around at some of the great teams and teams that win, they're close, they're tight. They pull for each other, those type of things. So we always say, if you're not bringing the energy, you're draining it. So, what kind of guy do you want to be? And that's just sort of the philosophy that we have.
And seeing what you did and the way that you go about this, when I was asked to be a part of your, Zoom meeting there and to be able to speak with the student athletes that are connected to the baseball program, and I want to thank you and Coach Clifford for that. Once again, it showed me 3 words that came to mind: uniqueness, consistency, and purposefulness. What can you say about those meetings and the intent of them and how they embody in those 3 things that I just mentioned? The uniqueness of making sure that you're going the extra mile for your team, consistency, that you're doing it, like you said, more than once, and making sure that you stay connected, and the purposefulness as to why you do it.
I think it goes back to, how you feel as a person yourself. If you were in that position of their shoes, what would you want to get out of it? How would you feel? What kind of interaction would you want to have? So it starts with us, and I don't think we're much different where it comes to our recruiting process. We bring guys in, and this is pre-COVID. This is like a normal recruiting process, is bringing guys in the fall or the summer, touring them and their families, and then really having them come back like for a second time, stay overnight, stay in the dorms. I set up classes for them for the day in their majors. And then they go to lunch with guys. Guys walk them to their classes. Get on calls about majors, those type of things, talk to professors. So it's really about, setting that culture of, we're here for you. It's definitely a team atmosphere. And, we tell our guys all the time that, whether it's now or 10 years down the line, we'll do anything it takes, obviously, to see that you're successful. So, It's just about, I don't know if that's unique or that's just the way that we do things, or I'm sure other people do it sort of similar, but and the Zoom calls is just another way of just, we're not with you right now, but let's get on and see how everyone's doing. Let's make fun of each other's haircuts and our baseball teams and who's doing what, and sort of banter a little bit about that, and then get into what we need to get into, lifting wise, conditioning wise, and, what we're doing for the summer and how we're getting ready, for the next year. We're looking to build something here. So it doesn't start, September. It doesn't start in January. It starts, when the season ends. What do you do in the off season to get better? And it's a good thing, and something we started a couple of years ago, and it's worked out well for us.
That coming here from Jason Thiel, the head baseball coach for Marywood University, and always appreciate having him on here on Pacer Pride and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. Jason, before I let you go, did anybody ever do this for you? I mean, I know that, Google Meets and Zoom and that wasn't there back then, but did anybody go the extra mile with uniqueness, purposefulness, and consistency when you were playing that made you feel like, wow, they're really showing me that they care and they're trying to make sure that we're all pulling on the same side of the rope?
No, to be honest with you, obviously it wasn't as big back then, texting, and it wasn't around back then. So it was more just guys getting together on their own and hanging out and sort of, trying to create a culture. But no, it's just something that, for me, I want to have a close team. I want these guys to know that we're there for them. Our assistant coaches are heavily involved with them in their lives and what they're doing. So it's just something that we said and something that we want to obviously pass on going forward. We want these guys to know that, when they come in this program, we love them, we take care of them, we're a family, and then they do it for the next group that comes in the following year. They had a good experience, and now they want to sort of, replicate that to the next group coming in. They'll go above and beyond for the next guys to make them feel comfortable. So, it's just, that's just the culture that we want to set here. We always talk about representing yourself on and off the field, in certain ways on campus. So, a lot of the culture, we sort of set ourselves, and, we're proud of that. We're proud of what we've done. We had the best GPA in the conference this year, baseball-wise, setting records on the field and doing well in the classroom. So we're proud of where we're at and where this program's going.
And for you, Jason, to look at this team and to look at what you're looking at going forward here and making sure that they stay together. Have you felt that, when you speak with the student athletes and whatnot, that these Zoom meetings, the, connecting with alumni, the making sure that, you're seeing each other's faces throughout the summer and whatnot, the things that kind of were bore out of the pandemic that you now bring in consistency to say, okay, you know what, when we're all home and we're in 3, 4, 5 different states, we're all going to be together on the same screen. Have you heard back from the team that these do work? Have you had student athletes really feel like they got something out of them? And is there a benefit that you're already seeing a tangible return on?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard feedback that it definitely works. Guys enjoy it. Guys like seeing each other, not just a group text. When it comes to working out and the workout plans, sort of how we handle it, we break it down. We have 4 coaches. We break down the classes. So I take the upperclassmen and so on. We get on to Coach Cliff takes the freshmen. And so we have our own set of sort of how we handle it that way. We break it out to, we assign some of the upperclassmen, a couple of the freshmen to sort of make sure they have everything they need coming in. Any kind of questions about classes or structure or dorms, they can go through a student athlete first before, they have to come to us with it. We just try to obviously set that culture for them. And the more, like I said, the more that they can see each other, the better. The feedback has been good with that. I think just, sending group text after a while, some things get lost in there, lost in translation, passed over, looked by. So we can sort of see each other and see what we're doing and where we're at and ask questions and joke around a little bit. It's just, some more team bonding. It's time that you don't get normally. So, we'll take it now when we can get it and make this a full year thing of seeing these guys and being in constant contact with them.
And for you, Coach Clifford, just what you can say about that and your staff in general, just what that's been like to work with them on some of these projects and to get the entire staff. You talk about the student athletes being on the same page and on the same side of the rope. Bring me into the staff being on the same side of the rope as well.
Yeah, I can't say enough about those guys. I mean, Coach Haddix, Coach Diskin, Coach Clifford, even Mr. Cliff. They're just a great group of guys. They're really good friends of mine. I know Coach Diskin and Coach Clifford. I mean, our families are close, and I'll do anything for those guys. And Coach Haddock's a little bit younger. He came on board. Actually, I was an assistant coach and a head coach when he played. And Justin's a great kid. Obviously, we do anything for him as well. It's just we also have a similar vision. We obviously I'm the head coach, I always say, but I don't. I'm not the kind of guy who really is going to really yell at them and tell them you need to do this, this, and this. We collaborate. We take ideas. We let guys run with things. Coach Cliff is really good at thinking outside the box and sort of ways that bring guys in and speak and speakers and motivational things and quotes and he cares about his guys and so do the other coaches and it shows. Those guys we're as close as I think assistant coaches can be. We talk consistently. I just got the phone Coach Cliff 5 minutes ago. We talk every day. So it's exciting to go into this and to do it and to have fun with guys that you appreciate as hard as you are.
Yeah, and that's kids, emulate those things. And you have young men here on the team that are looking for that leadership and to see that. And, before I let you go, Jason, here in this edition of Pacer Pride on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, to have that purposefulness, uniqueness, and the consistency of it all for everything that you've been able to do with this team. What can you say you are most grateful for as you get ready for a season coming up, and what you're most excited about when you get to be around them in person, when you get to be with them on Zoom, when you're running through different workout regimens and things that they need to know? What are you this morning here most excited about in the middle of the summer?
I think grateful. I'm really grateful for these guys and the work they put in on and off the field. I mean, to be honest with you, we don't have any problems, any issues. We can show up to practice 10 minutes late. The practices run smooth, and we have great leadership, great kids, great parents, great involvement. So I'm grateful for these guys at nighttime because they have so much work to do. One kid's a PA major, and he's swamped with physician assistant work. So other guys in other tough programs. So it's with doing that and then show up to practice and constantly communicating and doing what they need to do on and off the field. Volunteer work, we do that as well. So we ask a lot of these guys, and it's consistent of the things that we ask for them. Whether it's go be the ball boys for soccer games, go park cars for alumni events. They're constantly doing things, and we put a lot of pressure on them in those ways. But we always tell them if they don't leave here in 3 or 4 years a better person, that's on us. So we sort of challenge them in those ways. We're excited for the fall. I mean, we have guys coming in, really good young freshmen, a couple transfers coming in, and we're excited to get going in the fall. Guys coming back, guys are working hard in the summer, receiving texts from guys about what they're doing, how excited they are to come back. So we tied the program record for wins and best start in school history, longest winning streak, highest GPA in the conference. So there's some bars that were set for these guys, and they're excited to go break it. I think they see the makings of a program and what we're doing here. And some of the older guys are excited because they can sort of see what they built and sort of what they're going to leave behind, and they're excited for that. So with a bunch of guys coming in, great talent coming in, and we're excited to get going in the fall to see how that translates at the college level and start really forming a team and bonding a little bit.
That coming from Jason Thiel in this edition of Pacer Pride, head baseball coach at Marywood University. Jason, as always, I appreciate your time. Appreciate the honor of being able to speak with your guys this week and look forward to obviously being around the team very soon, either Zoom or in person. So thank you for the work that you're all doing, and a big shout out to Coach Diskin, Haddocks, and Clifford as well. And congratulations again on tying the most wins in a single season, and I look forward to you beating that record this upcoming season as well.
Thanks, Dan. I look forward to it. Thanks for all the all the publicity and all the shout outs, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you coming out last week as well as a proud alum. So we're always willing to have you, and we're always thankful for you having us.
All right. Well, listen, take care of yourself, stay safe, stay well, and enjoy the fact that right now the Mets and the Yankees are still good. So we'll see what happens from here.
Good for you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Take care. That coming from Jason Thiel once again here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal that thing called life. So very much appreciate having Jason on the show here this morning, and I hope that you all have a fantastic weekend coming up here. Want to thank Carvel for the annoying moment of the week. Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is the home of our new Sunday, the DT Dolphin. It's going to be coming to you very soon. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, featuring Ike Jarvis for the first time ever in studio. And our topic today about it all being about the journey, as he talks about his near-death experiences and being sick and coming through that and finding his personal journey to God and faith in God. So a lot of wonderful things came from Ike this morning. Top Dog of the Week, honoring my guy Moe Neal, as he has now been invited to the XFL, and all about faith and believing in himself, going through the adversity, questioning, being upset, and ultimately believing in God, believing in himself, and believing in what he wants. So a big shout out to Moe Neal, our Top Dog of the Week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse. And of course, rounding out the show with Jason Thiel and Pacer Pride, speaking on something that I got to do with them, as Coach Clifford had asked me to be a part of it and to be in their Zoom with, players that they have that are coming in and players that are already there. So of everybody that's committed to the program for Marywood baseball, to be able to be on a Zoom call with them and talk with them and, in some way, shape, or form, try to help out the next person. So I want to thank Coach Clifford for the opportunity and Coach Thiel for the opportunity. I want to shout out Coach Diskin and Coach Haddix as well. And I want to shout out the entire Marywood baseball team. Thank you for having me, and God bless you all. And much appreciation for what Coach Thiel is doing, which is why I wanted him as today's guest in Pacer Pride, because he is going above and beyond with his staff to keep the team focused, keep them together, keep them learning about each other, and understanding the importance of academics and not just athletics, and finding ways to make sure that they continue to bond together. So that can't go understated, and that's why I wanted to have him on the show today. So thank you for that. Inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, you're tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life. Always happy to have you here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we appreciate you being here as always here on the broadcast, so thank you for that. Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and you are tuning in on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com to listen to internet live streaming radio. Internet streaming video is here with you on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com /live-now-DT. So however you're connecting with the show, we thank you so much for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And once we go live, we go to the archives, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, MixLR, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Amazon Music, Audible. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure you do that today. I cannot thank you enough for being a part of this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and all of our broadcasts. And of course, make sure you download us, save us, like us, and all the good stuff on all of these avenues, including asking your Alexa or Google device to play the latest episode of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, which they will do as well. A big thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond. Shout out to Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, PB&J's Lunchbox, Avicoli's, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Witty Wicks, and Mother's Cupboard, as well as Avicoli's, if I hadn't mentioned them, in PB&J's Lunchbox. We are also the proud multimedia marketing partner exclusively of your College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Make sure you're tuning in Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, which is called Dolphin Time. And when you're hanging out with us here inside of Dolphin Time, you have the opportunity to get AD and DT every first and third Wednesday of each month, featuring Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Bob Beretta, the athletics director at Lemoyne, bringing you exclusive content, including an entire chronicling from the beginning to now of their realignment and reclassification conversation that could see Lemoyne stay Division II or jump to Division I. Every second and fourth Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, you have Dolphin Dive, where we dive into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, as well as future Dolphins and alumni here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can get the archive by going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, and of course by subscribing to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. For more information on your Dolphins, go to lemoynedolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Marywood University Pacers. It is Pacer Pride every single month on Wake Up Call, and every Friday you get new editions of Pacer Pride, and all you have to do is be with us around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We went a little bit later today, and we appreciate your patience for that, but you come to us around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time and get to hear from the Marywood University Pacers administration, student athletes, and coaches like Jason Thiel of the baseball program this morning. You could check out our Pacer Pride archive by going to wakeupcalldt.com and clicking on the Marywood tab. You can also subscribe to us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And for more information on your Pacers, go to marywoodpacers.com. The Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora multimedia marketing partnership is exclusive as well to Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. We bring you the Bobcat Buzz every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We have featured national championship coaches Nick Dimitrievsky, who is the athletic director and men's soccer head coach, and Alex Grigorita, who is the assistant AD and women's soccer head coach on the broadcast. We brought Alex out to Cafe Kubal on 401 South Salina Street in our takeover of Bryan and Stratton there. We had a Bryan and Stratton coaching takeover recently on campus here within the last couple weeks with Clay Gagan Sherman, Tay Baker, Sean Peak, Alex Grigorita, and Nick Dimitrievsky. We have also broken the story that Clay Gagan Sherman was hired as the men's basketball head coach. We brought that to you from Mother's Cupboard on 3709 James Street in Syracuse, as well as bringing you Tay Baker on campus at Bryan and Stratton on James Street in Syracuse, and the news from Sean Peak as well of him starting up the baseball program at Bryan and Stratton for the first time ever, that being on campus, and Danny Frasina joining us from PB&J's Lunchbox after he chose to exit the basketball program that he began at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. So the Bobcat Buzz is exclusive, it's first, and it puts a spotlight on Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse that it's never had before. We are more than happy and more than proud to bring you the Bobcats inside a Bobcat Buzz. You can go to the BSC SYR tab on wakeupcalldt.com and get the Bobcat Buzz archive. You can also subscribe to us on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And of course, for more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I want to thank Ike Jarvis, Moe Neal, Jason Thiel, and all of you for being a part of the show. You could be sure that we'll be following realignment as it happens. Go back and watch our college realignment broadcast from this week, where I put the map out. I show you where the conferences are, where they're going, and where they could go, and you definitely don't want to miss out on that broadcast. So check that out, as well as Syracuse keeping New York in New York, and our special broadcast with 3 Syracuse commits, all from the state of New York, Albany, Bronx, and Brooklyn areas. So we look forward to more coming up from that. And we thank Syracuse football for finally starting to recruit the state of New York. And hopefully that continues in a big way and it pays off dividends ultimately, because, I'm born and raised in Syracuse, New York. If I had the opportunity to play, why would you not want to play for your hometown team, home state team, more than anything else? So thank you so much to all of you for being a part of it. Thank you to all the wonderful places that broadcast our show. Thank you to Cafe Kubal. Thank you to Witty Wicks for decking us out right here as well as making us smell very nice with these Witty Wick candles that are right inside of the studio. And I look forward to talking with you on Monday, God willing. In the meantime, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, the Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk with you soon, and I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic, and beautiful and safe weekend. I send you all my love. I love you.